Welcome back. So this isn't a flashback. We're going to go through and review lessons 1 through 6. Let's get started. Okay, so when we started out and created this series, start with lesson 1 and start with the very basics of Cartoon Animator 5. And so the first thing was just to create a scene, which was double clicking on the park scene here and adding it to the screen. Here I'm just clicking down through the buttons to show how you could just turn a part of the scene on or off. So we go ahead and put the first actor on, which is an actor that I bought. And there's quite a few actors that come with this too that you could have used as well. And this is one of the Gary Pye actors. So here we just created a really simple path, and then by double clicking on some of the walking motions that come with Cartoon Animator, we're able to make him walk right across the screen. So then this custom figure, we're able to go in and take off whatever we want, his hair, his mustache, his glasses. Just literally create a different looking actor. It's a really cool feature. So we've created a walking motion now, and we've kind of created the character so that he has the features that we want. And now we're just going to go through and take a look at the movie. Now this is all high speed, so now we're going to go through and we're going to correct all of the hand motions. And so his hand gets flipped around when you put in walking cycles. And so wherever walking cycle starts and stops, you can see the other little keyframes there. We're just simply flipping the hand over. Okay, so now his hand is correct. And now all the details of how I do this in slower motion is by just watching lesson 1. You can start there and see this in slow detail. But this is an overview. So here I'm just going through and resizing the bench, moving it back, making the scene look a little more realistic. Okay, so now in lesson number 2, we go ahead and add another guy, but before we do, we go ahead and put in the eye blink motions here. We can fully customize his eyes and how they look by selecting different eyeball pictures, which are basically, they call them sprites, and this is the sprite editor. And these little pictures are what allows us to make him look like he's blinking his eyes, or having his eyes wide open, making an expression. We can do this with his mouth and all different features of this character. Put in his eye blinks there. I'm going fast, it's a little hard to see the blinks, but they're there. Okay, now here we demonstrate how putting in another actor right over the top of the first actor. See how he's highlighted, and so when I double click on another actor, he goes in, and he ends up doing the exact same walking steps and eye blinks and that, so that's cool. You can change your actors, no problem. So I just go ahead and take the opportunity to make a little movie of this actor, and then I go back and I'll get a little movie of the first actor, and then have these for my Hound Dog news show that we're creating. Okay, so here we're going ahead and put in the actor now. As if we don't have the first actor highlighted, then you can go ahead and double click on another actor and he'll just come into the scene like you saw. And then here we are able to work with the 2D motion key editor, and we can move basically every part of his body and adjust him, flip him, get him sitting on the bench how we want him to look. And of course, when this is in slow motion, I'm explaining exactly how to do this. So you'll want to watch lesson 2 for that. Okay, so here in lesson 3, we go ahead and we keep working with the 2D motion key editor. And I believe in this part, I'm going to go ahead and turn the actor's eye positions here a little bit so that in his head, just so that he has that realistic look when the policeman's walking by. So whichever actor is highlighted as the one that you're doing the motions or the eye movements or whatever to. So in this case, we're working on the guy on the park bench. And now here you'll see that the actor is actually going behind the other actor because there's something called layers. And so all I do is I get close to that actor, I go ahead and roll my mouse wheel to change the layer position forward. Couple clicks, and now the original actor is walking in front. And these are little anomalies that'll happen as you're creating your movies, that you'll have to change the layer position to make the one actor appear to be crossing completely in front of another one. There we go. We fixed that part. And just adding a couple more eye blinks and that. A little more realism. Okay, and we just play with this scene until we get it right where we want it. I wanted to have a scene where he's walking by and just sleeping, and then another scene uh, where he's being observed walking by, and then I can use these little mini movies to plant into the Hound Dog news story. And so I make these little mini clips. And of course, he's walking much slower in the original clip. You'd have to go back and see that. All right, so here in lesson 4 now, we're going to go ahead and do a few more tweaks to this little scene. So I'm going to do the path just a little bit different so that the actor appears to be coming from the background and walking into the scene rather than already be standing there in the scene. And so that's really simple to do. I just started on frame 0 and pulled the actor back, and you could see it automatically created a little path line. And then I go in the timeline and I just adjust the speed and what's called a transition curve there that you saw. And those transition curves allow him to jump into the scene or come in slowly and then accelerate. And so you play with those till you get a really natural feel. Here we go. And these would be the different movies that we went ahead and collected out of this so far. And then when you're taking it to the editor, you can grab a piece of this. You can still speed it up or slow it down, depending on your needs. There, I think he kind of looked like he was sliding in there. Wasn't real natural looking, so that would need some work. All right. So as we moved on, then we went ahead and we go into CapCut, where we're actually working on the actual Hound Dog News for Kids episode. And we go ahead, and this is kind of like the birthday party scene. And so Alex is getting his surprise party and everything. And you can see Mike in the back there. He's the security guard. And I had intended on having the guy walking through the park be the newest member of the team, and he'd show up to the party late. So
Surprise!
so this is just a little spoof, and I'm showing basically how, for the first time, how I edit things in CapCut and add the scenes to it, and different transitions in that. Comes up in a future lesson here I'll be reviewing. So that's what this is about. And then we threw in the park scene there, and that was the end of that lesson. Okay, so now moving on, we go ahead, and this lesson's just about changing the clothes colors. And so when you've got a character uh, that's a Photoshop Deluxe, you can go ahead and you can still go in uh, with the character, and you can change their sprite colors. So I go in and I teach all about how to do that. We take the first image, sprite image called the hip picture, and we take it to another free program called Krita, and we go ahead and select each color in the outfit that the actor's wearing, and we right click and we save it as a particular type of file, and then we go ahead and fill in a different color into each one of those pieces that we're creating. And so this lesson is all about changing the colors and creating different looks to your outfits and that, with shading and realistic features, and basically still just copying what's already there. Just you'll see as we go ahead and change the colors now. So now we have these pieces. We can select each piece individual now and put our new colors in. So now there I'm selecting the first piece, coming over and selecting the color that I want to fill it with. And so all through this, I'm talking and telling you how I'm clicking on everything, and this is all playing slowly so that you can see all of my mouse movements, and it's easy to follow. This is just an overview to highlight the lesson, and for you to see without having to invest a whole lot of time in the lesson, to see the overview of how this process works. So keep in mind, this isn't to teach you how, this is just simply for you to see the overview of the process here. Basically, each one of these lessons is 10 minutes long, so the work that I'm accomplishing here in just a couple minutes takes about 10 minutes for you to learn it. Okay, so we've gone in and we've changed our colors, and now in the next lesson here, we clean up the rest of the colors, and we'll take this picture back to Cartoon Animator. Go ahead and save this as a new hip picture. And so the whole concept here is that you're going to add this blue hip picture. You can see there's an arm, blue arm. And so you just simply add in the new piece. And we'll fit it to the body. Easy as that. And then we do that for the arm. We'll bring in the second arm. And then it's easy as changing clothes colors on your actor. It's just as easy as clicking on a sprite image. So that's pretty cool. Now these characters have quite a few parts, and so it can be a little tedious, but it really doesn't take that long. And you can then have a whole different outfit. And later on, when we go through some of the more advanced lessons, we come into Krita and we create even our own clothes. We alter some of the existing clothes, and we do a whole bunch of different things. Teach you how to work with some of these characters and create your own original character. For here, I just wanted this actress to have different dress to wear, different color. She's a main character in the Hound Dog news. And I didn't always want her wearing the exact same thing, so okay. So this lesson pretty much goes through that, and we've now created the change of clothes just like that. And so as we move on here, now we'll go ahead and move through lesson 7 through about 15, where we'll do a completely different scene. So come on back and we'll keep reviewing these lessons. See you soon.